everybody. Tim Corcoran here again. Hey, we had a request to talk a little bit about gardening. So, since my whole thing these days is that we human beings own who we truly are at our core, and that is Earth caretakers, I could easily add we're Earth gardeners. And what I mean by that is that we are at our best. We are tending this earth. We are caring for the forests, the mountains, the lakes, the oceans, you name it. That's when we're at our best. That's when our hearts are open and our souls are full and we feel good about ourselves. And we're good to each other when we act in that way to the earth. So just to kind of take it to a little smaller level, gardening, growing food. I'm going to talk pretty much about growing food now. There's a whole nother form of gardening, and that's creating wildlife gardens around your home and wildlife corridors and things. That should be another talk. Now, I know there's a million opinions on gardening, and there's incredible books out on it that you can study and read. So I don't need to get into the minutia of all those details because there's many ways. I want to talk about some other parts of it, kind of more the spiritual side of gardening and more the very personal side. And how gardening, when you grow a plant, like for instance, think of this. Some of us have trouble with the word miracle. We have trouble establishing what a miracle is. It beats me. I have no trouble at all finding miracles everywhere. But there's nothing more miraculous than taking a seed that was created by a plant, putting it in a little pot surrounded by dirt, watering it, letting that seed grow into a sprout, watering it, nurturing it, protect it from insects and things like that, putting it into the ground and letting it grow, watching it grow and grow and grow, all the different stages of its life until it blooms and then has fruit or the leaves if it's a lettuce or something like that or a cabbage. And then you get the joy of, in a very good, healthy way, taking its life and then letting its life become you by eating it. I mean, that is what we call full circle living. The power of the circle. The earth is round, the sun is round, the moon is round, birds' nests are round, the seasons go in a circle. That is the circle of life, and you are a main part of that. So, you want a miracle? Look at a seed and be a part of that, okay? There's nothing more amazing. And part of what you have to do is just don't always be a human doing, which means you're busy. Take time to just simply notice the seed. Look at it, smell it. Use all your different senses. Get them involved in the whole process of planting it and growing. It's often been said that our senses are windows to our souls or windows to higher spirit. I truly believe that there's doors that open for every single sense, and plants are one of the great gifts that bring them alive. So be aware of the process as you go along. Take time to sit. The other thing you want to do when you grow a seed is you want to sing to it. You want to talk to it. You want to dream it into life, into health. You want to wish it good. You want to give it blessings. These are very important things to do, and it forces you to stop and take time to notice that you are a part of the process of life, of creating life, okay? It's a big deal, guys, because it transfers into all other aspects of your life, even like your spirituality, how you work with other people, on and on and on. Now, I want you to look around this beautiful greenhouse right now and notice where it all begins is in the dirt. If you look here and you notice we just planted this year, and it's in the dirt. The dirt, there's a great series of books that came out a few years back in the 70s when I was growing up, and one of them was our Bible. It was kind of a Bible to us. It was called The Secret Life of Plants. It came out in 72. And it's how plants speak and communicate to each other and to us. Then the same creators of that book wrote one called Secrets of the Soil. And what they said in that book is that soil is a living being unto itself. If you were to take one shovel full of soil and bring it up, you are in some way disturbing or changing thousands upon thousands of life forms. If you were to take some of that soil and put it under a microscope, it would be fully alive. Now, another huge part of creating life and being a caretaker is creating soil, making compost. If you really learn the science of it and you take the time to do it, you are a creator. You are giving life, and there's nothing like it. It's just to actually just to be able to get your hands into the soil like this, and you want and be able to smell it, and be able to just put it in your face and feel it in your hands and visualize it growing, and know when you're looking at it that all kinds of things are living in that, making it work. And one of the most amazing is the earthworms. What could be another more miraculous thing than an earthworm? They live in the dirt. They make the soil work. I mean, they are a miracle being. And they're so friendly and so wonderful to be with and spend time with. So talk to the soil, nurture the soil, get your hands in it, get it on your body on it. Another thing I want you to think about with gardening is as the plants grow, wish them well. And we mentioned that earlier, but I can't say it enough. Visualize them growing into health. Protect them, care for them. And if you do, they'll be good to you. They'll be very good to you. Notice the pollinators, like the bees and the mason bees and the hummingbirds, and even the male mosquitoes are pollinators. And visualize them doing their job well. Enjoy looking at them. And, notice the different patterns on the leaves. Like here we have collards growing. I can already taste them. I love them. I cook them with a little bacon, and oh my gosh, I can't imagine anything more amazing. Look at the veins on that leaf, how it's growing, and how it's just, and it like, the other thing that's so important I'm thinking right now is touch plants. They love to be touched. I can't understand how people are afraid to do that. Sometimes I'll actually leave in our camp trees untrimmed along the trail so people are forced to walk into them and brush against them because the trees enjoy that so much. So take time to touch your plants, and not just with your hands, but with your arm and your face and your feet. Don't forget your feet walking around the garden and so forth. Notice the shapes of the plants, the patterns they make, the colors, very important. They come alive within you, the colors. They kind of give birth alone inside of you in their own unique way. And another thing to remember about gardening and plants is there's so much that we know, and that's really good. But there's so much we don't know, and that's the mystery of it. And that's even more important, I think, than what we know. And a true earth caretaker gardener has an absolute peace with mystery. We don't have the need to know every single thing. And yet we can know that something works. We can know that something's right, that it's okay. But we don't have to be able to intellectually explain it. We can be at peace with the whole process just the way it is. That is a powerful, powerful place to be. And that can be transferred to other parts of your life too. Learning to live with the mystery. If I take it to the bigger picture, most of our native ancestors, my Celtic ancestors, long before science, long before organized religion, they believed in spirit. They believed in a God, God of the land, God of the earth, the living earth. But they couldn't explain it intellectually, what it meant. They just knew it was real. And they knew it so much that no one could get into their heads and tell them they were wrong. And this is what we have to get back to again, is trusting our inner vision, trusting our hearts and our souls to be communicators to us. And one thing I've learned about plants in a garden and throughout the woods and throughout the planet is they are the great teachers of how to communicate on the deeper levels to them and to other parts of the earth. But we have to simply stop, slow down, breathe them in, open up, and listen to their language. When we come from an idiosyncratic place where we think we are better than the plants, we think we know more, we think we're more important, then everything shuts down and we aren't able to communicate. And then we're just human beings doing. And that's not where we want to be. Trust is a big word. Love is a big word. Compassion is a big word. You want to learn kindness? Be kind to the plants. Learn how to be kind to plants. You want to be of service? Tend the garden. Garden tending. All of these words that are often on our codes of honor for rites of passage and things like that, we learn from plants and from nature. So I want to really, really bring that kind of to the forward for you. And now I want to walk around, just look a little bit at some of these plants. And I can visualize them when they're huge. There'll be a point I'll bring you back here in a month and this thing will just be full. You won't even believe it. And I love to touch them. Again, this is rosemary. I mean, what is more amazing than smelling rosemary? I mean, that could be enough right there for your whole life. What more could you want? Ah, so nice. Appreciate these things. Honor them. Look at the shapes of this beautiful bok choy here. And think about how these plants are shaped because they're managing the sun. They're bringing the sun into their being so they can grow. You know how it feels when you get out in the sun on a cold day and you receive it and you feel it come into your skin and through your eyes and your head. That's what these plants are doing. They're bringing the sun into them. They're bringing it in. Photosynthesis. It's an amazing thing to think about. Now here's something that gets in the way a lot for us modern people. You guys more than me. You smartphone users. You're always busy. Always on call with that phone. Always looking at it for every single thing. Don't get me wrong. I think smartphones are another absolute miracle. And they help make our schoolwork from a business sense. So I'm not against them at all. But I'm really, really a believer in learning to put these tools down and just learn to be without always being on call. It's a huge thing. Constant interruptions tend to make it harder for you to connect deeply to the planet and to the plants themselves. So think about that. Go out into the woods and go into your garden sometimes without your phone and just enjoy being. Another thing I think is really important is don't be shy about going into your garden and creating a sit spot that you just sit and it becomes like your little power spot, your little place, okay? And I think many of those, a little bench here, a little rock here, places that kind of pick up your energy, that call to you, that are beautiful, and you sit and just observe and meditate and soak in your garden. I also think it's really a powerful thing to do is to sleep in your garden. Why do we ignore it for the whole night long? There's a whole universe of life that comes and goes around your garden at night. If the weather allows you to, just throw down a blanket or in a sleeping bag and just sleep with your plants. Sleep in different parts of your garden. You'll find that amazing. It's really helpful. Now follow me. We're going to kind of walk through this greenhouse a little bit. We're going to go outside and look at the orchard a little bit now. And I want to sing a little song because I think plants love to be sung to, and we'll sing right now a little bit to them as we walk through and you can just see the garden. Way, oh, way, oh, way, hi-ya-no. Way, hi-ya-no. Way, hi-ya-no. Way, oh, way, oh, way, hi-ya-no. Way, hi-ya-no. Way, hi-ya-no. Way, oh, hey, oh, hey, hi-ya-no. Way, hi-ya-no. Way, hi-ya-no. Way, oh, hey, oh, hey, hi-ya-no. Way, hi-ya-no. Way, hi-ya-no. One more time. Way, oh, hey, oh, hey, hi-ya-no. Way, hi-ya-no. Way, hi-ya-no. Ah, and I just like to take a deep breath when I finish. close my eyes, really visualize that song healing and helping things to grow and just being wonderful. You know, there's nothing wrong with just enjoying the moment and things just being wonderful. You don't always have to do something that equals some kind of an end. You can just enjoy the moment of being. And I think, who better to teach that than plants? That's what they do. I mean, think about this. A plant can't run away. A tree can't run away if something comes to bother it. It has to stay there and deal. The ultimate observer of life is plants. They have their only home. That's where they live. That's their world. Think for a minute. This is a really powerful thing about plants to think about. Think for a minute. How does a plant feel when you come into its space? How are you affecting that plant? Good, bad, nothing? Think about it. Be the kind of person that is aware enough and cares enough to ask the question, how am I affecting this tree? How am I affecting this plant? And if it's not okay, how can I shift that? Right there, that just being willing to do that will change your life forever. How, you know how few people do that? Almost zero. Stop and just think about how they're affecting the world around them. By the way, if you can hear that rooster in the background, that's my good old buddy, my crazy rooster. Come on out. Wild dogs here. Also, when you make a garden, you want to make it beautiful. You know, over here we have a beautiful sitting area. The greenhouse is beautiful. We've got berries that are going to be coming in soon. Behind you here we have this gorgeous door. It was painted by a bunch of our kids. Add your beauty to the garden. Make it gorgeous. The rock edges. Let's go over here and we'll kind of look at this beginning of our orchard for the spring, blooming. We just put in mason bees over here, and we're wondering where they went. But they're supposed to be incredible. It's the first year we've done them, and so we're still kind of wondering what's going on, but we're very excited about it. They're called mason bees. There's my wonderful boy right there. That's Vegas. His name's Vegas. And they're great for gardens, chickens, but you can't let them in with all the plants because they can often hurt them. But on the edges and things, they love to eat a lot of the insects that don't help gardens, so they can be very beneficial. And their poop, chicken poop put into the soil is some of the best. Remember we talked in the beginning about building that soil, how important that is. Bees too, we have bees around our garden. We had a terrible year this year. We lost our bees. It's been very frustrating. But we're getting some new ones. And I think it's probably one of the great joys of my life are bees. And you know, I could talk for hours on bees. You want to talk about an absolute miracle. Bees could teach human beings how to live on this earth. They are probably the best teachers we could ever have if we would pay attention to them. Now down in here you see some of the fruit trees. We have apples, which grew really well up in our climate. We're about 3,700 feet. We have peach trees, which kind of struggle a little here, but last year we had more peaches than we can eat. Oh, and that's another thing. When you finally get your fruit and eat it, I mean, I got to tell you, you talk about a miracle. I don't think there's anything better in the world than a peach that's ripe. When you chew it, and it runs down your mouth and into your beard and all over your hair, and yet just juicy, gooey peach. Come on. That is heaven on earth. And when you do it, acknowledge it, be aware of it, and it'll become 1,000 times better. So much of this is about awareness. It's about awakening up to the world we live in and allowing it to come into us and just appreciating it, participating with it. Not being an observer on the outside, but being in the garden, in the orchard, in the forest. A part of it, one with it, a part of the creation of it, of the success of it. So often we take ourselves out of that and we become observers only, and often not even observers, just human beings busy, and we miss the whole beauty of it all. And guys, the beauty of this is so simple. All of the stuff I'm talking about is so simple. This is not complicated stuff. It simply takes you doing it. So think about that and go plant a garden. Go plant a garden. And one of our other talks, I know I've touched on it briefly here and there, think about gardening for wildlife. Now's the time. You imagine if every single person tore up their lawns and gardened for wildlife, all of a sudden how much land there would be for animals. It could be one of the greatest things we could do for the planet in this time of global warming. It would be a game changer and something we can all do. So thanks for putting up with me and listening to me, and enjoy your food. And we'll go walking through the garden again as it grows, okay? We'll keep visiting it this year. All the best, and maybe I'll sing one more song. Toshokone, 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 ya hey ya na hey, ya hey ya hey, ya hey ya hey, ya hey ya hey ya hey ya hey ya na hey. One more verse. Toshokone. This one is to the garden. Toshokone, Toshokone, ya hey ya na hey, ya hey ya hey, ya hey ya hey, ya hey ya hey, ya hey ya hey ya na hey. Now I want to do a verse to you guys. And I want to just wish you the best through this crazy virus we're dealing with. And I hope you all come out the other end well and you come and see us. Again, we're planning our summer up here. We want you to come and be a part of Headwaters. This verse is for you. Toshokone, 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 ya hey ya. Hey ya na hey, ya hey ya hey, ya hey ya hey, ya hey ya hey, ya hey ya hey ya na hey. Oh, all the best.